I'm very tired. So this week I had the busiest week that I've had since I started curating content for y'all on the internet. I kind of just wanted to do a little like debrief with you all just to kind of like talk about how I went about this process and where I got the idea from, how I executed it, how I'm feeling at the end of it. I have all of this scrap yarn here, and I'm just gonna make some granny squares with the scrap yarn because I kind of just want to feel something. And I have a random number generator open on my iPad that's gonna roll from numbers 1 to 8, and whatever number it lands on is gonna be the color that I'm gonna use to make my next row in my granny square. I'm currently sitting on my floor watching the Challenge All Stars. It is snowing like crazy outside, and I'm just gonna chit chat. So this past week, I decided to challenge myself and release 5 videos in a row, and I successfully did that. I'm very proud of myself for successfully doing that. But that also meant that I recorded, edited, and posted 5 full YouTube videos in the span of 10 days. Which honestly, I don't know if that sounds bad or if it sounds easy. It was probably somewhere in the middle. I definitely was feeling the mental burnout from just the creative process in general, probably by video 3. Luckily, past me did some decent planning that I recorded what I thought would be the hardest 3 videos first, and I saved the what I thought would be the easiest 2 videos for last. I didn't actually record the videos in the order that you saw them. The first one that I recorded was the video where you all spent the day with me in my apartment. I did some cleaning, and I kind of just showed you all what a typical day in my life looks like during this weird era of my life that I'm currently in. Once I recorded this video, I kind of set myself a schedule to record the other videos. I had planned to record my coffee video and my baking cookies video in the same day because, I'm pretty experienced at making coffee. I know how to make coffee quickly, and I really just didn't think that that recording process was going to take me that long. Also, the cookies that I made, as I mentioned in my video, I had made them before, and it was a pretty easy prep time. So I kind of figured in the span of like 4 or 5 hours, even just like a full morning, afternoon, while the light is up, I would be able to record those. And then the following day, I would record my last 2 videos, which were just me chatting to the camera. And once I had all of the footage together, I would work on editing everything slowly over time so that I would have a couple days between when like my second video was posted and the end of the week to just kind of relax. But unfortunately, things don't always go as planned, and especially when you are someone like myself, shit happens, and I'm not necessarily good at leaving a buffer space to accommodate said shit happening. I feel like what the first 2 months of content creation has taught me is that it's one thing to just sit and film yourself talking, but it's another thing to actually do something while you're filming and try and get like some good presentation on it, or try to get the angles that you want to really make it like more of a cinematic kind of like engaging experience. And that was kind of what got me with my coffee video, is that there were a lot of angles that I was constantly moving the camera around, and it just ended up taking a lot of time. That taking a long time unfortunately pushed my cooking video back a day, and then I think something happened in there where I like didn't record the day I thought I was going to record, so I did it the next day. And then before I knew it, it was Monday, and I had promised myself that I would have a video up. I think what I learned about this process is it's not the production of the video that really sucks my energy away. It's the engagement with the content after the fact. And what I mean by that is like after the YouTube video is posted or after the reel is posted is honestly what I have found to really take my energy during the process of content creation. The sort of, I guess, like advice that I have heard about disseminating content into the world is that you generally want to be online when you post something, at least maybe when you're just starting out and like trying to like build a base, because if someone comments on your post, then you want to be there to respond to the comment so that you can start a conversation, because the more activity you get on a post, the more push it's going to get into the universe of the algorithms, and hopefully the more reach you will get so that you can meet more people and build a bigger following. And really at this stage of content creation, I am trying to find my people on the internet. So I personally feel a lot of, not necessarily obligation, if you will, but I don't really know what the word for it is, like a urgency, I guess, to like really be present on what is happening with the content that I put out, right after I post it. When I say right after I post it, like really that extends throughout the entire day. Because say if I post something at 3 p.m., I'm then going to assume that like, okay, people are, getting off work around this time, or people are going to be like having dinner and going about their evening routine. Like I know for me, like I like watching YouTube videos when I'm trying to wind down for the night. So I kind of like assume that people are also doing that. So it really just becomes this whole process of like continuously checking my phone to see if anyone interacted with my post or if anyone commented or what the sort of like first little trajectory of like views might look like, so I can anticipate if this is being pushed into the algorithm right away or if it's just kind of not, and it'll be more of a low traction video, which the first couple hours aren't necessarily always telling anyway because the algorithm can pick up content at any point. So it's a little bit weird of a process for me to try and figure out. But at this stage, it's really only been 2 months of me trying to do this, so I'm still learning. And that was really the biggest part of me wanting to do my 5 days of Vlogsmas series, is that if I can put out a bunch of content in a short period of time, I can see perhaps what my viewer base likes, what I like to make, and also what the algorithm likes. Because again, at this stage where I'm trying to build a following and build a presence online, these are kind of the questions that I feel really matter. They're not questions that I want to necessarily focus on the long term, but I do want to find people with common interests on the internet. Like I said, I am in a very weird era of my life right now. I am an immigrant in a country that has a general disdain for people who are immigrants. Part of the reason why I wanted to get into content creation is because I do miss my family and I do miss my friends. And at some points I do, I have made great friends here and I'm very happy for that. But at some point I do miss the familiarity of my home, which is Canada. Everything kind of happened so fast when I moved here that I don't want people to like forget about me. Friends who I unfortunately can no longer see at will because I'm currently not allowed to go home based on the conditions on my visa. So a big reason why I wanted to get into content creation was so that people can see what I'm up to, because not really any of my friends want to come to the country right now, and that's just kind of what it is. I can't force them. But I can take it upon myself to still be able to share things with them. So that's really what I was hoping to get out of both content creation and my 5 days of Vlogmas series that I just did. And I certainly hope that that is the effect that we're having. If you're one of my old friends, let me know in the comments if you have been able to feel a little bit closer to me during this journey. Yeah, I would love to know. I'm doing my best right now to treat this content creation journey that I'm on as my job, because unfortunately I'm not able to work right now. And I'm in a very fortunate position where my husband currently makes enough money to support both of us. So I feel very lucky that I can take this time to really focus on crafting an online presence, because it really does take a lot of energy and it does take a lot of time. And I'm in a fortunate situation where I have the time that I can dedicate to it. So I'm going to try and do that with the best of my ability. This is our first granny square here. It is kind of giving Scooby-Doo, but I'm into it. So now that the series is over, I've had some time to just rest and sleep and look at my analytics, and I definitely got some good information, I think, out of this process, both in terms of learning my own personal limits and sort of investigating what parts of content creation fill my cup and what parts of content creation drain my cup, but also just some more information on how to better format my videos so they are more engaging. My primary focus for my YouTube channel is long form content. I understand that YouTube Shorts are a thing. However, between Instagram and TikTok and whatever else is out there, the short form vertical format of content creation, I feel like I'm just kind of over it. I just don't feel like we really need more of that, at least in my opinion. I personally, when I use YouTube, I don't look at shorts. I look at long form content. If I'm on this app, I want to have someone talk to me for an extended period of time, be that 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. If I want quick hits of content, I'll go to TikTok or Instagram. So that is really my focus on this platform. I also just kind of feel like long form content allows you to really get to know the presenter. Ultimately, I just feel like you end up spending more time with the person who's presenting. And really, at the end of the day, like what I want to get from this platform is relationships with people who think like me or have similar interests to me. It has been really interesting to try and find a delicate balance between the content that algorithms like and the content that is authentic to me and my goals. And I feel like if what I've gathered from just like researching different content creators is that you want to try and find like a happy medium between those things. Like you want to make content for the algorithm, but you also want to make content that's true to yourself because that's how you're going to get invested followers and friends. But yeah, really what's evidenced to me through this whole process is that there is a lot that goes into that. And it's going to take me some time to figure it out. But I sincerely hope that if you are watching this video and have watched any of my other videos, that you are able to find some enjoyment out of this process and that you are willing to stick by me while I kind of figure things out. Ironically, the video from my Vlogsmonth series that seemed to perform the best was the video where I talked about music in 2025, which is kind of funny because when I recorded this video, I thought it would be an absolute nothing burger and nobody would give a shit about what I listened to last year. This year, it's still 2025. And in classic YouTube fashion, the video that I put the most amount of effort into is the video that performed the poorest in terms of both views and retention, which was my Do Nothing vlog video. I think a possible reason for this is that there were some mic issues at the beginning, and unfortunately this was the first video that I recorded, and it was pretty soon after I got my new mic. It might have even been the first piece of content that I recorded with my new mic. Some people were telling me that they were having trouble hearing me in the first like 2-minute segment. I will admit in this segment I was talking very softly because I literally had just woken up. But unfortunately, I didn't realize that I could turn my mic up a couple notches and maybe it would help me capture the audio a little bit better if I knew I was going to be talking more softly. So I can't really blame people for clicking off of that one. And that was a really big lesson learned for me, even though it is probably the video that I'm the most proud of because as we know, after posting my very first vlog, which was a steaming hot dumpster fire, I was excited to put an actual vlog that I personally felt like is something that I would watch from another creator into the universe, and seeing the retention graph be so nosedivey, it did make me a little upset. But really, when you're doing something like this, you only have a couple seconds to really grab someone's attention, and even I know for myself in the past, just using YouTube, if something doesn't feel right within the first 10 seconds, I'm clicking off. It's just the reality. But it's just a really interesting process to try and like figure out all of the ins and outs of social media. Many of the people close to me in my life know that I haven't been the most active on social media in the last few years. Really, once I started going through my transition, I honestly just didn't want to be in the public eye. I was working in service at the time. I really didn't want to be seen any more than I already was. And I really just wanted to keep a low profile and do a lot of work on myself in therapy and really focusing on harnessing the relationships that were immediately around me in my life. I'm very thankful to be at the point that I am now mentally, where I feel confident in presenting myself in my authentic form on social media in a public setting. Like for many years, I worked really hard to not have any of my information come up on Google. Like if you typed my full name into Google, unless it was just Google hiding it from me, there was nothing there. I mean, there was stuff there, but it wasn't me, you know? And that was something that I valued for a very long time, was being unfindable unless you knew me. And now I've basically completely 180'd that. So that's fun. This is my second granny square. I personally would not have picked these colors, but that's RNG, I guess. I think my personal favorite video of the Vlogsmonth series was the cookies video, because it was so ridiculous to record and it was also so ridiculous to edit because I was just sitting there laughing at myself the whole time. I'm really not someone who like aims to create chaotic content, but sometimes I do chaotic shit in life and it just reminds me that my brain is a mess fundamentally, and sometimes I just have to roll with it. Like I was not acting at all in that video. I really truly just did not reread the recipe before I started. And that's what happened. So, but it is a new week this week, and I am looking forward to kind of getting into more of a routine, I guess, with my content. At this stage, I think I would really like to kind of like make a posting schedule. Obviously, I'm going to have my YouTube videos every Friday, but say I post a carousel on Instagram and TikTok about the YouTube video so we can kind of like have more of a discussion about it. And then, posting a YouTube short on one day and then an Instagram and TikTok reel on another day. Or trying to figure out like what days of the week work best to kind of like make a continuous flow of content so I can get myself in a routine, but also that like you all can sort of like know when my content is coming. If you watched this video, thanks. I just kind of wanted to chat about the last week that I had, and if any of you enjoyed listening to it, thank you. I will see you on Friday when I post my next video, so if you are not already subscribed, please do so, and if you feel like turning on notifications for this channel, I encourage you to do that as well. Anyway, bye!